Have you ever asked yourself, what if her love was never about you? What if what you call a lie is actually an instinct? What if the woman you idealized only existed within your own neediness? These questions hurt, I know, but perhaps your greatest suffering never came from women. Perhaps it was born in the clash between what they taught you to expect and what reality actually delivers. Women are the most natural sex of all. They are pure nature, brutal, free of metaphysical illusions. The quote is from Arthur Schopenhauer. And no, it's not a vulgar provocation. It's a revelation, a key. One of those phrases that, when truly understood, don't let us sleep the same way anymore. All of us, at some point in the journey, kneel before the sacred image of feminine love. We were taught, right, by songs, movies, mothers, and priests, that it was enough to be good, gentle, loyal, poetic. It was enough to give. It was enough to feel strongly enough, and love would reciprocate. But no one told us that sometimes love is a useful illusion that the species uses as bait for reproduction. The proposal of this video is not to attack, not to foment resentment. It is something much more uncomfortable to wake you up. Because understanding the truth about the feminine is not an act of violence, it is a rite of passage. It is abandoning the boy who seeks approval to give way to the man who knows himself and therefore does not beg. Out there, the world spins on autopilot. People chase acceptance, dopamine, distraction. Not here. Here we stop. We breathe, we dive deep. Today you will descend to a layer of reality that almost no one dares to visit. And the philosopher who left us the most brutal and lucid insights of the 19th century. Arthur Schopenhauer will guide you on this path. But attention, this is not for everyone. This is not a video for men who want excuses. It is for those who want clarity. You will hear truths that may make you uncomfortable, because what you will discover here is not what they hide out of malice. It is what they themselves do not know is operating within them. You will discover that her love may be a biological contract, not a spiritual vow. That her mind was molded more for social survival than for the search for an objective truth. That her desire does not rest on you. It circulates, evaluates, compares. And that your sacrifice, instead of awakening gratitude, can cultivate contempt. Finally, that within her there is a permanent contradiction, the desire for security and the attraction to the man who does not bend. This is not beautiful, but it is real, and paradoxical as it may seem, it is this reality that can free you. As Nietzsche said, the truth is not hard because it is true. It is true because it is hard. And if you have the courage to cross this hardness with me, then you are ready. Ready to abandon the theater. Ready to stop pretending you don't see. Ready to understand what happens behind the feminine gaze. And behind your own reflection. Welcome, you shouldn't know this about women. But now that you do, the world will never be the same. She looked at you as if you were the center of the universe, and in that instant, you believed. You believed you had been chosen, not out of convenience, but for something rare, sacred, almost spiritual. But what if none of that was about you? Or rather it was, but not in the way you think. You think she saw your soul? In truth, she read your potential. And what she felt was not exactly love, it was security. Schopenhauer knew this. He knew before Freud, before the masculinity coaches, before the emotional pornography that culture calls romance. He understood that love is a trick of nature. An elegant trick, yes, but a trick nonetheless. What you call feeling, he called the will to live. A blind, tireless impulse that operates beneath the surface of human emotions and makes us desire, love, and suffer just so that the species continues to exist. The woman in this system is more than an accomplice. She is the guardian of the criteria. She does not love with her eyes, she loves with a radar. It's a silent radar that detects strength, direction, resources, capacity for protection. Therefore, When you lose your way, when your ambition falls asleep. When you start begging for love instead of generating respect, something in her dies. And what dies is not affection, it is desire. She herself cannot explain it. She will say she is confused, that she needs space, that you have changed. But deep down, at the subterranean level of instinct, your biological value has been re-evaluated and downgraded. It's not her fault, nor yours. It's the cruel dance that romanticism refuses to show. Because, contrary to what they told you, her love is not an eternal vow. It is an invisible and deeply biological contract. And you know the most ironic part? The more you try to win her back with flowers, dinners, endless messages, the more she pulls away. Because in the eyes of instinct, you are saying, "Look how small I am without you." And no human being desires to unite with what is small. Do you want to love truly? Then stop chasing love. Build yourself, refine yourself, become so solid, so dense, so rare, that her own presence begins to contemplate you, and not the other way around. She wants stability, but desires transcendence. She wants a lap, but gets excited by haughtiness. She wants protection, but surrenders only to the unpredictable. And the man who understands this does not become cruel, he becomes free. Because loving without understanding the subterranean laws of love is like sailing in the dark, believing that the sea will guide you, when in fact it only wants to swallow you. Now tell me, do you still believe in the love they promised you, or are you ready for the love that frees you? Now answer me. Have you felt exhausted from trying to improve, but seeing no real results? Read books, tried techniques, noted goals, but nothing seems to sustain the change with consistency. There is a reason for this, and it is not your lack of willpower. Most people try to change their lives without first understanding how the mind works. But there is a structured method, tested over the centuries, that shows how to reorganize your thoughts, gain clarity of identity, and builds emotional discipline without relying on motivation. This method is a combination of neuroscience, behavioral psychology, and practical philosophy. And when applied, it is often the turning point. Those who go through it describe a sense of mental order, peace, and self-mastery that was previously impossible. We left a complete video explaining all this on our website. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the description or in the first pinned comment below. You think you are arguing about logic, coherence, facts? She, on the other hand, is observing the tone of your voice, the slight tremor at the corner of your eye, the silence between one word and the next. You believe you are winning an argument. She already decided what she is going to do 3 days ago. This is not manipulation. It is survival. Schopenhauer said that the woman is the incarnation of nature, and nature is not fair or logical. She is efficient. And to survive in a world built by men, dominated by wars, strategies, brutalities, the feminine mind developed a silent weapon: emotional intelligence. You expect clarity, linearity, rational argumentation. She operates on another level: subtext, context, nonverbal language, microexpressions, rhythm of silence. While you seek what is true, she seeks what is useful. And not out of falsehood, but out of instinct. You think brutal honesty strengthens love. She knows that the stability of the bond often depends on a sweet lie or a delayed truth. She was designed to create nests, preserve bonds, predict emotional risks. You want to know what happened? She wants to know what that means for the future of the relationship. You want direct answers? She wants emotional security. While you get lost in data and reasons, she is reading the mood of the room, the history of your behavior, the humor of the week, the fluctuations of your ambition. And when you demand total sincerity, she sees a danger. Because for her, certain truths are like fires. They may be real, but they burn what was still trying to survive. You can call her contradictory, confused, too emotional, but think with me, who survives better? The man who shouts truths, disconnected from the right time, or the woman who chooses the exact moment to be silent or reveal to protect what she loves? She plays the game and plays it well. The mistake is not in her. It is in you who insists on believing that the game even exists. The way out. Stop expecting her to think like you. Start listening to what she doesn't say. Read the pauses. Feel the mood. Understand that for her, love is not a logical debate. It is a territory to be protected with silent strategies. And then, perhaps for the first time, you will no longer feel lost. Because you will see the invisible field where everything happens. There, where words don't reach, she has always been listening to you. She can love you. She can admire you, smile when she sees you, make plans for a future by your side. She can even say, with her soul exposed, "You are the man of my life," and yet a part of her will never be just yours. I am not talking about infidelity. I am talking about a deeper, unconscious, uncontrollable, ancestral impulse. An invisible movement that Schopenhauer knew well. The wandering desire, the instinct of the species, the blind will of life. You want to believe that her love seals everything, that by conquering her, you have her. But feminine desire is not possession, it is perception. And this perception changes, fluctuates with time, with the context, with your attitude, or the absence of it. You can be the most present man in the world, faithful, careful, loyal, but if you stop growing, she feels it. If you abandon your center, she registers it. If you relax emotionally, physically, spiritually, her radar activates, not out of malice, but because she carries in the core of her being the mission to choose the best possible man. Not for her, for the child that may not even come. It is this silent code that analyzes, compares, updates, even when she loves you. That's why she can be holding your hand, and when she crosses paths with a stronger, more whole, more magnetic man, something ignites. It's not betrayal, it's biology. It's nature doing its job. And your mistake begins when you ignore this, when you believe that love guarantees permanence. When you think it's enough to have succeeded. She doesn't want the man who stopped in time. She desires the man she can barely keep up with. And you feel this, even if you don't understand it. You feel it when her touch cools. When her gaze no longer penetrates you. When the kiss is technical. Absent, polite, you see her there, but she is no longer there. Because at some point you stopped being the adventure and became just the shelter. Don't be fooled. Shelter is necessary, but it is not what lights the fire. Want to keep her desire? Stop trying to control. Start transforming yourself. Become the man she would choose again, even knowing all the others. This is not done with promises, flowers, or ready-made phrases. It is done with constant evolution, with unshakable presence, with a life that pulses so strongly that she feels that losing you is losing the chance of something greater than herself. She will never be entirely yours, and that's okay, because you shouldn't be entirely anyone's either. When you understand this, you stop suffocating love with chains and start seducing it with freedom. You believe that love is proven by how much you are willing to sacrifice. That if you give up yourself for her, she will love you more. That if you cancel your plans, abandon your dreams, renounce what is yours, she will realize how much you value her. But there is a dark truth that you never wanted to hear. The more you give up yourself, the less she respects you. Schopenhauer already said that man is driven by a principle of the affirmation of the will. He is force in motion, direction that cuts through chaos. And when this principle is betrayed in the name of pleasing, the masculine is extinguished. You become inoffensive. And being inoffensive, my dear, is not being good, it is being forgettable. She may even thank you at first. She may say she loves your sensitivity, that she loves how present, affectionate, dedicated you are. But little by little, what moved her begins to suffocate. And you don't even realize that with every forced yes, every ignored boundary, every silent renunciation, you are killing yourself a little and killing her desire along with it. You think you are building love, but you are digging a hole between you. Feminine love, at its most instinctive level, does not fall in love with martyrs. It bows before warriors, before men who, despite loving her, continue to serve something greater: their purpose. Because deep down she needs to believe that you would be who you are even without her, that your mission does not depend on her approval, that you chose her but do not need to beg to be chosen back. And that's where the mistake of so many good men lies. They confuse devotion with submission. They give up their friends, their projects, their boundaries, and expect gratitude in return. But what they receive is coldness, impatience, contempt, and then comes the cruel phrase, "You've changed and you lost." Think, but I changed for her. Precisely. That was the problem. She fell in love with a man who had a life of his own, with a man who made her feel that to be by his side, she needed to be a woman of his stature. Not out of fear, but out of admiration. When you start to orbit her as if she were the center of your universe, you break the sacred symmetry. She becomes the sun, and you are just a satellite. And no matter how much she says she wants partnership, equality, mutual surrender, her desire remains archaic, visceral, programmed to seek strength, independence, haughtiness. She wants to be with you, but she doesn't want you to need her to continue being who you are. The truth is uncomfortable. If you abdicate your throne to build an altar to her, she will crown you as a servant. Don't stop loving, but stop losing yourself. Sacrifice time, sacrifice comfort, but never sacrifice your mission. Because the man who burns his own essence to warm a relationship ends up alone before the ashes. She says she wants a calm man who is sensitive, present, careful, who understands her on bad days, who talks, who welcomes, who stays. And you, listening to this, believe it? Believe that the secret lies in being everything she says she needs. But something strange happens. The more stability you offer, the more she pulls away. The more you give in, the more she tests. The more you become the perfect man, the less she desires you. Why? Because there is a war inside her, and you are trying to win that war with flowers. Schopenhauer, who did not idealize anything, would understand this contradiction easily. He knew that the human being is not a unit. We are layers. And in the case of women, these layers are often opposite. On one side, she wants security, routine, predictability, comfort, stability. She wants to know where she stands. She wants to know that you won't leave. But on the other side, she desires intensity, desires the butterflies in her stomach, the risk, the mystery, desires a man she cannot completely control. This is the paradox. She wants peace, but desires war. And it's not her fault, it's structure, it's instinct. The man who molds himself too much to be the ideal partner kills without realizing the tension that keeps desire alive. He becomes predictable, controllable, without pulse. She even likes him, but as one likes a comfortable sofa. And feminine desire is not a feeling, it is a fire. And fire needs friction, boundary, a man who, even being loving, remains free. You think her tests are signs of disrespect, but in reality, they are disguised invitations. She is asking, are you still the man I cannot dominate? Do you still carry the wolf inside you that can protect the territory? Or have you become a domesticated lamb, waiting for affection as a reward for good behavior? The mistake is not in being gentle, it is in giving up yourself. It is in forgetting your mission to live for her. She doesn't want to be your world. She wants to orbit a world that you built yourself. She wants to feel that she is with a man who chose her, but does not depend on her to exist. The secret is not in choosing between being the sensitive one or the dominant one. It is in uniting the two. You need to be firm, but not brutal, flexible, but not weak, capable of protecting her, but still capable of saying no. She needs to feel that if the world falls, you don't fall with it. When you master this dance, she stops testing, because she finally feels that she is next to a man she can trust and still admire. If you have come this far, I need to tell you something that few have the courage to say. Looking you in the eyes, you will not love the same way again. And this is the best news of your life. Because what we called love was often a fantasy loaded with neediness, childish hope, and ignorance about human nature itself. You believed that it was enough to be good, that it was enough to give, that it was enough to feel. But the truth, that truth that Schopenhauer would rub in your face with the cruelest of smiles, is that feeling is not enough. You need to understand that her love is biological, that her mind is adaptive, that desire is a flux, that your sacrifice has a limit, and that she carries within herself an internal war between the need for security and the yearning for intensity. Not to defend yourself from her, but to free yourself from yourself. Because the biggest mistake is not in her, it is in you, who expected from a human being what even the gods are incapable of offering: absolute constancy, eternal passion, magical completeness. You wanted paradise. But the reality, my dear, is made of jungles, not clouds. What Schopenhauer offers is not a nihilistic view of love. It is a brutal cure for your illusion. And only when you break that illusion is the true man born. Not the one who begs for love, but the one who overflows with value. Not the one who depends, but the one who invites. Not the one who demands fidelity, but the one who becomes unforgettable. And then, yes, maybe you will love again, but now with both feet on the ground, with your soul at war and your heart finally free. I write this for you like someone talking in the dead of night with a friend who can no longer bear to pretend to be strong. Because I was once that man too, the one who loved too much, the one who gave until he was empty, the one who cried alone at the wheel after hearing you deserve someone better. And one day, in one of those silences that no one hears, I understood. The problem was not her. It was my inability to see the game I was playing. There began my healing. There this channel was born. And if you are here with me now reading these words to the end, you are ready too. Ready to stop seeking in a woman's eyes the validation that is only born when you see yourself whole. Oh, and don't forget to click on the link in the description or the first pinned comment. If you want to access the complete content about the self-transformation model that combines neuroscience and practical philosophy, and that helps to develop discipline, mental clarity, and real direction for life. If you felt that this video tore something inside you, comment below with the word freedom. Tell me which of these truths made you bleed the most or wake up the most. Here is your mirror. Not the mirror that praises, but the one that reveals you. Oh, and if you are still in this game, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Not for me, but for you. Because the next videos that will appear beside you are not simple videos. They are portals. And one of them will show you what you are not yet ready to accept. But when you are, it will change everything.